Today's topic is temperature. As on the basis of temperature, how the water in the lake circulates. Means the upper water comes down or lower water comes up. So on the basis of temperature, as temperature is the most important factor, it's depend on the sunlight. So water most dense at the 4 degrees centigrade. It can become lighter either by the cooling or warming. Means less than 4 temperature, if water have the less than 4 degree, then it become the lighter, or more than 4 degrees centigrade, that will become also light. So the most greatest density will be at the 4 degrees centigrade. The lake is warmed by solar radiation and cooled through radiational cooling. Means in the daytime, the lake will, the upper water become the warmer because of the solar radiation, and at night it become cool. Now this will depend on the temperature of that water body. From 4 degree to 0 degree, water has a density difference that is 0.13 gram per liter, and between 4 degree centigrade and 20 degree centigrade, the difference is 1.77. Here we can observe the difference from 0.13 to 1.77. Means with the reference of increase in the temperature, the difference in the density will become increased. So this one is the basic factor. This gave rise to the typical temperature profile of the stratified lake. Stratified lake means here on the basis of temperature, there will be a stratification in the lake. Means the upper portion, that is epilimnion, and the lowest most, that is the hypolimnion. But the intermediate will be the metalimnion on the basis of the temperature, because the most dense water, that is is at the 4 degree centigrade, and when this temperature will change, either it's increase or decrease, then the density of the water will also change, and water become lighter, and the lighter water will be go up, and the denser will become will go down. So in this way, circular movement will become, and because of this circular movement, the circulation pattern in lakes will be because of the this temperature, because of this temperature. So with this stratified lake with two separate water masses, the one uppermost, that is the epilimnion, and the second hypolimnion, that is colder as compared to the epilimnion. The region of greatest change in temperature is metalimnion. This metalimnion is in between epilimnion and hypolimnion. Means here the in epilimnion, because this one is the uppermost layer of the lake, here the temperature will always be greater than the hypolimnion, and the hypolimnion is the lowest most region of the lake. That's why here the minimum temperature will be here in the cold hypolimnion. But this metalimnion, this area is always in between epilimnion and hypolimnion. That's why here the greatest change in temperature, means here the temperature will be always less than epilimnion but greater than hypolimnion. So this metalimnion has three synonyms. This one is also called as a thermocline, metalimnion, and structure. These three words are used as a synonym of each other. So on the basis of this phenomena, temperature, lake have circulation patterns. Now on the basis of number of mixing, there are three major categories of lakes. One is amictic. Here A is for absent. Means these types of lakes, they will never mix. Usually they are permanently frozen, or such types of lakes are found in Arctic and Antarctic regions at very high altitude. So they will never mix ever. That's why they are called as amictic lakes. Means they are mixing of water, of cold and warm water. Their mixing is absent. That's why these types of this type of lake is called as amictic lake. Second type is meromictic. Mero means partially. Here in the meromictic lakes, they mix only partially. The reason is the deep water layers never mix either because of the high water density. There are two reasons maybe because of their partially mixing. Number one, that maybe they are because of high water density caused by dissolved substances, or another reason may be because the lake is protected from the wind effect. Means its location is protecting it of mixing. That's why that type of lakes, they are not completely mixed. Means they are partially mixed. That's why these lakes are called as meromictic. Means partially mixing lakes. And the third major type is holomictic lakes. Hollow means the completely and mixing. So these types of lakes mix completely. Now number of mixing, on the basis of the number of mixing, it has four major types. Number one, oligomictic lakes. These are this type of holomictic lake is not mixed every year, because such lakes are usually large and have a large heat storage capacity. uh, they are not mixed completely, depends on the specific climate condition. That's why they are not mixed every year. Another is monomictic lake. Here mono means one, so they mix only once each year. That's why they are called monomictic lake. Now this monomictic lake type of lakes have two subtypes. One is cold monomictic lakes and another one is warm monomictic lakes. Cold monomictic lakes, they are found in polar regions. They are rarely reach temperature above 4 degree and mix in summer. As we already studied here that if temperature goes rise than the 4 degree or the less than the 4 degree, then the density of the water will be changed. So here in the monomictic lakes, cold monomictic lakes will mix in the summer because they are in the polar region, and they rarely reach the temperature above the 4 degree centigrade and mix in the summer. That's why they are called as cold monomictic lakes. Another subtype of monomictic lake is warm monomictic lake, and they mix in the winter. They because when they cool down to about 4 degrees, usually their temperature is greater than 4, and when they cool down to 4 degrees, but they do not freeze over. An example of this lake is Constant, which an average freeze over about once every 33 years because of its large size. So this one is the another type of monomictic lake. So monomictic lake makes only once each year, and which lake makes in summer, that is called cold monomictic lake, and lake which makes in the winter, that is called warm monomictic lake. So this one is the second type of holomictic lake. Third type of holomictic lake is dimictic lake. Here the di means two. So these types of lake mix twice a year. Here usually they mix in spring and autumn. So because of they mix twice in a year. This is the most common type at temperate latitude. Usually at the temperate latitudes water body, they are dimictic type of lakes. And the fourth one, that is polymictic lake. Poly means many, so they mix frequently, and even sometimes even they are usually shallow lakes, and they mix sometimes they mix daily. And they are usually situated in the tropics or at the temperate latitudes with a high degree of wind exposure. Wind is the basic factor that play important role in the mixing of water in the lakes. So the circulation pattern in lakes, that is depend on the temperature, and because here when temperature will change, the density of the water change, and the denser water, heavier water, that become from upside down, and the lighter water, that will become on the surface. So in this way, the upper layer of water will move towards the hypolimnion, and the lighter water, that is less than or greater than the 4 degrees centigrade, that will goes to the epilimnion, or the upper region of the lake. In this way, the circulation pattern in the lake will happen.